internet didn't want to reach that far. So I'm finding a new spot.
No problem. No problem. People are just coming in. So where should we start? I wanted to start with a brief meditation, but I still want to give a few more minutes for people to come in. So, the sharing part is really important because it gives us all a chance to learn from each other and get insights into ourselves by listening to others. So I appreciate everybody that's, sharing their experience and sharing your time, this commitment. I asked for 4 things just to join this class, your commitment, your to get a book. And now if you don't, you're going to need a journal. That's the 3rd thing. The other thing would be, internet access, obviously the Zoom or YouTube. So the journal is going to be coming up. And so if you don't already have one, make sure you get a journal. And this week we started with our yes and no's, right? But just before that, getting back to the fundamental practice, I want to hear how's it going? How's the fundamental practice going for you? The good, the bad, the indifferent, whatever, just how's it going? Or maybe it's not going, how's it not going?
I can start. It started out really strong. Like I was so excited about it. I felt the vibration real quick. And then, I don't know what happened exactly, but I haven't been like isolating that practice in and of itself. Like I do another 35-minute meditation every day, and I tack that on the end. So I think that hasn't been working so well. So I think I want to isolate that 10-minute or whatever, the 15-20-minute practice for this in a separate moment, because it just blends. I can't really identify, where I'm at with it. And it's just been a wobbly week, I think, for a lot of people. So it's been wobbly for me anyway.
Okay. Also, if you notice any changes or benefits you're having as a result of it, please mention those as well.
I found today that in sitting there trying to feel where it was, I felt like what I would call pulsations all through my body. It wasn't a vibration in a particular place, but it was just this, the cells all pulsating. It's good. I like it.
It'll be pleasurable, and it doesn't have to, you start with this heart area, the heart region, the heart center. But then you'll feel pulsations in different places, and you may like you said, that's great. You feel the pulsation, your whole body starts to pulsate at certain points, and so it'll change. It'll move around, it'll fluctuate, and so sometimes I'll be, I'm having this awareness in my heart center, but my pineal gland, third eye is really pulsating strong as well, and that'll come and go. Or like I said, after 10 minutes, sometimes my body starts to move a little bit for a little while, and then it stops. So no, that's a great insight. Thanks for sharing that. Anybody else?
I have just a comment about the kind of energy we're dealing with out there, as we're seeing a lot of changes now, and we're going back to mask wearing and all sorts of things in the outer world that are happening. And this meditation for me has become like a reprieve from the madness. So the timing for me has been excellent, because I would much rather think about rhythm and vibration and these kinds of things instead of what is happening out there.
Right.
I'm appreciating it.
Thank you. Who's been really getting to a rhythm, like really getting in a groove? You practice it at least once a day. Sometimes I forget, sometimes I get to twice, sometimes I don't. So I'll be honest, sometimes I get that. Yesterday I got 2 and 2, and today, but most days I just get the 1 in the morning. I'm really pretty solid with the 1 in the morning. But today, even though I woke up like 5 a.m., I did something, a different kind of meditation, like Deb was saying, but I didn't do the rhythm meditation, and I ended up, not doing it the whole day, and then realizing like, wow, I skipped out on it. I was kind of put it off, and then, I missed it, and I got to do it later in the day, thanks to this class and the commitment here. But, if you don't set that, And that's why I said like 10 minutes is a great thing to start, because there's no excuse. Anybody can't lie to themselves and say you don't have 10 minutes. So that excuse goes out the window. And it just really sets the tempo. So just that 10 minutes, initially 10 minutes was really good. I get my groove. Now I find myself like, even when that 10-minute timer goes off, I still feel like sitting longer. So I sit for maybe a good 15 minutes, where it just stretches out. But that 10 minutes is just so simple to say to the mind, I'm going to sit down for 10 minutes. I'm going to put 10 minutes aside, and I'm going to squeeze it in, and it's very easy to do. But doing it over and over and over again is so important. Commitment on a daily basis. Who else would like to share?
I'll share. I think I'm still having problems finding the rhythm, if you will, but I've had so many other interesting experiences. And this morning I sat and did the, just breathing in and breathing out. I love that. And that centers me. The minute I started that, and the minute I started that, I got like what I call a hit. I got an idea that I needed to relay to someone else at a later point. But it was like, oh my gosh, the minute I get to a quiet spot, then I feel like the universe is already talking to me, is already just, so I loved that. That was really cool to me. And I was able to say, okay, thank you. We'll address that later. I also find when I set the timer that, when I'm shocked when the 10 minutes is up. And, when I did the 20 minutes and 30 minutes, I wanted to keep going as well. Not really finding the rhythm in the second period, but loving the in and out, and loving, the whole experience. And I do find my body is in movement a lot. So I'm sort of watching all that and saying, well, maybe that's my rhythm. Who knows?
So let me ask you, so when you sit to draw your awareness into the heart region, what goes on for you? What do you experience?
I would say nothing. Yeah.
And then are you able to just stay with that nothing for a while to see something evolve from that? Or
Yeah. I sit with it. I sit with it. I sit with it and then let it go. Because if it's not there, then we'll check in later, I guess is how I look at it. I'm not
When you say nothing is going on, it's pretty impossible for nothing to happen. There's always something happening. Okay. In our first class, you shared a really a great experience of like being there but not being there. Do you remember saying that? And that's really a place where you get to when you follow the rhythm. And it's like, I had a teacher that says, when you disappear, God appears. And that's like the you being there but not being there. It's like the you that you think you are starts to recede, and then something else, this space, this consciousness appears. And that's that experience that you shared about. So we're going to do the meditation again, and I'd be interested to hear what happens for you. So we're going to I think it's a good time now. Most people are in. James is here, so we can start. So if you want, you can turn off your video if you want. I'm just going to do like a quick meditation, and then kick things off. So I'll keep mine on for you, but you guys can take yours off. So just start obviously with your eyes closed, and we're just going to start with the breath and the breathing. Allow yourself to just experience each breath coming in and out of the body. Breathing in, breathing out. Feeling the breath coming in, expanding the diaphragm, surrendering, letting go, breathing out. With each inhale, there's this expansion, there's this receiving, and with each exhale, there's surrender and there's letting go. And feel yourself letting go just a little bit more with each exhale. And then if you haven't already, start to connect the breath so that there's breathing in and breathing out is like almost a seamless circular movement. Breath in, breath out. Letting go of any pause, just constantly breathing in. Nice, easy, and relaxed. Breath in, breath out. And on your exhale, just allow yourself to let go. Don't control the exhale, just let it go. As soon as you let it go, you feel it out. You just immediately, again, diaphragm active. You're breathing in. Nice, slow, deep inhale. You don't have to have a real deep breath, but just a nice, slow, relaxed inhale, and then let go. Inhale again, and let go. You develop your own personal rhythm, what works for you. Inhaling, exhaling. You notice how this just a few breaths is already changing your energy, changing the way you feel in your body, changing even your mind state. Everything's starting to change from just bringing your awareness to your breath, breathing in, breathing out, and letting go of everything else other than breath and my voice. Now allow your breath to just turn to normal. Normalize the breath, and then bring your awareness to that heart center. And just sense or be aware of any pulsation or vibration in the heart region. And allow yourself to bring all of your attention to this area and feel any pulsation or sensation there. And feel almost as if like there's those jets on the side of a pool, the water's flowing out. Feel like there's a little jet in the center with this soft bubbling energy just bubbling forth. As you draw your attention to the center, also feel and sense the spark of your soul. Feel as if this area holds this spark, this divine soul spark. And it's radiating, not only pulsating energy coming from the source, but there's light. And it is drawing you into itself easily and effortlessly. Allow yourself to let go and be drawn into the center. And yet feel the pulsation there. And so this rhythm, this vibration, let it wash through you like a sonic vibrational cleansing action. And let it wash through your mind and your body, your emotional body. Let it wash through you. And feel slight flows of energy going through your mind from this region. Relaxing the mind. And the mind starts to relax even more. Surrendering to the rhythm, to the vibration, to the flow. And then your emotional body. Feel and sense this energy radiating from your heart center. Your emotional body overlaps your physical body. So feel and direct the energy to all your emotional body, letting the emotional body to relax and let go. And then become aware of the pulsation, the vibration, the heart center, as well as the physical body. And just embrace your physical body with this energy of unconditional love, unconditional awareness, unconditional acceptance. And just see how good that feels in the body to just receive this unconditional acceptance. And then when you're ready, take your time, a moment or two, and gently come back. So, Jean, I'd like to pick on you if you don't mind. When you're ready.
Yeah.
So, were you able to feel a pulsation today?
Maybe a flow, a movement,
Yes.
body. Mhm.
It's very soft, like energy, like, like it's not like a, it's very hard to describe in detail. You know what I mean? It's something you got to experience for yourself. But exactly that word, that key word that you put in, flow. It's like an energy flowing through this area, this region, and it's flowing, but it's flowing with like with its own unique rhythm. And so that rhythm creates that pulsation. And as you bring your awareness there and just draw it, then your mind starts to, initially, like your mind is used to running the show. I tell people, your mind just wants to do what it's going to resist. It's going to do whatever, it wants to do. But as you draw your awareness in this area with this flow, what you focus upon expands. Where the attention goes, the energy flows. And so that energy starts to expand over a period of time. As you keep your draw awareness there, don't get caught out in your mind or in mental analysis, and just feel. The deepest thing that I learned in my yoga teacher training many years ago was like, the deeper we can feel into our body, the more quiet the mind becomes. And we just allow ourselves to feel. But we're so mental as a society of people that it's hard for us to feel, that we've lost touch with our feelings and really being in the body. Especially from spiritual people too, they're so, they can be very not in their bodies. And so to draw ourselves in the body is to feel. And it isn't when we're in our bodies, it isn't until we're really in our bodies that we can really feel the presence of, joy, peace, love, and all those things that we really want. That is God, that is God energy, God essence. So thank you.
I
Go ahead.
definitely like the word that I like, that no mental analysis. I think that's a powerful statement.
Yeah. So, because analysis paralysis, it's like you can just, I won't use the word, but I won't use the word, but you can mentally, I can't, not, it's hard for me not to use that word now that I'm thinking of, but you can just mind F yourself, you know what I mean? Like, that wasn't the word though, that was another word, but Anyway, I'm sorry, I get caught up in the distractions. But yeah, it's like analysis paralysis. The more you get into this analytical part, and like, and the mind is great to be as a tool for analysis, and analysis serves its purpose. But for this 10 minutes or for this little bit of time, set that aside and just feel and just be, and just feel what's there. And as you allow yourself to be patient and trust, because the other thing is like your mind will talk you out of, like, you don't see it, you're not feeling it, it'll say all these things. And just notice that too as well. And you don't have to believe your mind. We're so attached to our thinking a lot of times that we identify with our thoughts. We think that that's what's real, and the mind tells us stuff all the time which is not real, but we believe it because we're so identified with our mind and our thoughts. And so practicing awareness is understanding that you're not the mind, you're not your thoughts, you're that which is being aware of the mind, you're that which is being aware of the thoughts. And so it makes that distinction so that then you're not so much run by the world, and what's going on in the world. You're more so centered in your own truth, your own peace. And really, when I think it was Carol was saying about her experience, just the quote came to me, like, from the scriptures, is come out from among them. You can be in the world but not of the world. And it's like, come out from among them. It's like, come into your own vibration, come into your own dimension of being. And as you practice lifting your vibration and living in tune with this connectedness, you're living in a different dimension. So you're not really susceptible. I mean, there's like the law of averages and statistics and stuff like that, but you can step beyond just being a statistic in the law of averages to living a higher quality of life, because you're living in a higher dimension, higher vibration of sense of connectedness, while majority of people are just living, the mind's running the show. They're living and the mind's insane. Whether you know it or not, the mind itself by itself is insane. But as the mind comes back and connects to the heart center, it comes back home. It comes back to a place of peace, joy, and rest. It's like the prodigal son. The prodigal son went off into the far country, and then the prodigal son has to return home. The mind is just the same way. The mind is that prodigal son that's gone off into the far country, and we're bringing it back home into a place of unity. And that ring that was put on to the prodigal son, that ring represented unity, So it's like living in separation, living in unity, living in a place of connectedness, living in a place of disconnection. So with that, I'm going to share my screen, and we're going to get into.
Hey, Pankaj, before
Yes,
you
sir.
Go there, the one thing that I would mention too is that we're all going to experience that flow a little bit differently. So when we're comparing, try not to compare what you feel to what you heard somebody else describe, because it's going to be different and unique to you. It's like, it's the same water, but it's going to flow through different parts of the riverbed or the stream a little bit differently, depending on what it's flowing through. And as it flows through those different parts, it's going to move in different ways. And so keep that in mind as you continue to practice and think about how to get into that state of flow.
Yeah. And how's it been for you, James, while I have you?
It's good.
You feeling the flow?
Yeah. No, it's been really good.
That's a good point. We're going to retouch upon that same point that you just made in just a second. First, let me go to, this is from the book Atomic Habits that I mentioned, I think 2 weeks ago. And this is the graph that I saw that day. The effects of small habits compounded over time. For example, if you can get just 1% better each day, you'll end up with results that are nearly 37 times better after 1 year. So again, going back to just doing a little bit each day helps set you up on a whole different trajectory, right? All right, so the basic practice. Started with 10 minutes. And now chapter 3, the basis for answers. James, while I have you, could you read again? Because this is again, if you, that first sentence verifies again exactly what you just said. But go ahead.
The basics for answers, chapter 3. Your own particular money rhythm is like a thumbprint. It is unique to you. It might appear quite ordinary or exactly like someone else's, but it is one of a kind. The subtle differences between money rhythms might not even be detectable, but they are there. Actually, the basic practice of sitting quietly and being aware of the money rhythm is one of the most valuable disciplines that you can do. This puts you in direct touch with the most fundamental energy, which is your true essence.
Can you see
The
that?
base, yeah. The basic practice opens your conscious awareness to your own essence. You become aware that you are a vibrating being and you feel its vibration. That conscious awareness of your basic nature is the first step in claiming all you are entitled to. And that, my friend, is all the wealth represented by all vibrations. It is your birthright. The basic practice is key. It connects you to your essence and to all the vibrating wealth. Connected and in tune, the opportunities to make money flow to you. When you are not, you will not attract what is justly yours. The necessity of being in tune is hardly understood, let alone believed. It appears arbitrary that some people attract wealth while others don't.
So you don't have to believe any of this. You get to test and experiment with all of it for yourself and to see what's real for you. And but it's talking about, like, we all have heard, like, wealth, prosperity, it's our birthright, but living from this place of connectedness, like I said, connectedness, you just, as you, uh, um, as you expand your energy field, then you'll become easily, I mean, you just automatically become a magnet for greater opportunities, for greater good to come to you. We're constantly imaging, we're constantly imagining our reality, and we're constantly magnetizing, whether we're doing it consciously or unconsciously, but we're constantly magnetizing and drawing and repelling as well, drawing as well as repelling things from us. And a big part of that is our belief system. And we're going to get more into that in the next chapter. Okay, so discovering the yes and no signal. So after 10 minutes of sitting with the rhythm, doing the fundamental practice, you just ask for your yes signal, see what happens. Ask for your no signal and see what happens. And then just after a while, you get comfortable with it, and then practice, give me your yes. Even every day to this point, still, when I do the 10 minutes, after I'm done at the end, usually I just say, give me my yes signal, and I'll see it, and then give me my no signal, and and it happens, and just get comfortable with practicing it. So this is the beginning of the being with that rhythm for 10 minutes puts us in like this relaxed state of being, right? And you're just like open, your mind's a lot more relaxed, you're quiet, and then we're able to tap that wisdom and to start getting the yes and no signal and start this communication, this inner dialogue with our divine self, I like to call it, and you can use whatever words most suit you. But this is the beginning now. As we get into this, now we're going to be getting into the rhythm, the beginning of starting to do the work and asking our higher self, because the next chapter is about asking, what are the beliefs that are interfering with my prosperity? And then you'll hear the beliefs, you'll hear them, you'll see it, they'll come in whatever way. I usually hear them, and then I get to check it with a yes and no signal. And that's exactly what you'll be doing as well. You'll be, for 10 minutes, you'll be sitting with the vibration. And then for the other 10 minutes, you'll be asking, what are the beliefs? Once you've developed this practice of discovering your yes and no signals, which, may take a sitting or maybe take a few sittings, but it doesn't take too long. And again, it comes back to trusting yourself and allowing for things to happen, getting out of your own way, and really trusting your guidance, is if there's so much self-doubt, there's so much, like, second guessing yourself, it's really going to be hard for the wisdom to flow through you, if there's not this level of trust. And initially, like with this practice and any practice, you know, if you're not still comfortable with the rhythm, it's only going to happen if you continue to commit to doing the practice. Um, if you let yourself become discouraged and don't continue the commitment to the practice, then it's not going to develop and unfold, you know? So that's that. I'm going to stop sharing and come back. So has anybody, Sean, are you here, Sean? I know I saw
I am
you.
here, but I am in the car, so
Okay, yeah, you're tapping in and out. You're tapping in and out. When you get a strong
it's,
signal, come back.
might be a little loud and bulky.
Okay, no worries, Sean.
What's that?
No worries, no worries. We'll get with you next time. Or when you get to a solid spot, let us know. Who would like to share their experience with the yes and no signal?
I'll share.
Please.
So I was practicing, but I wanted to say this before. I meditate quite often, and I mean, I love it. I love what it does for me. And I remember you saying that you also experienced like your body would move, like parts of your body would move. I was kind of already experiencing that. I really didn't know what that meant. A part of me thought that maybe that was just almost like my inner being kind of communicating with me on some level. And then when I read this chapter, I was excited because I was like, oh, I'm so curious now to see what my body will do. And I did it, and I asked, and I truly believe it, one thing that is important is the asking. I think that when you ask your body to do certain things, or even just ask for anything in life, I think that's like the first step in receiving. So I made sure to ask, and then I just waited to see what would happen. And it took a few minutes, and then I got a strong signal for my yes. And that's actually when my daughter was watching me. I was the one who told you that she was sitting next to me.
I shared
And
your story. I shared your story a little bit last week. Sorry.
yeah, so she sees me meditating all the time, so it's nothing new, but she was wondering what was happening at that moment. And I explained it to her, and then I practiced some more, asked for the no signal, and played around with it. So, and I've actually been practicing all week just to see, you know, different things. Like I would ask questions that I already knew the answer to, you know, if it was a definite yes or definite no, just to see what would happen. And it's a really interesting sensation because it's nothing you're doing. It's, for me, it felt like I was completely out of the way and my body was doing what it needed to do. So
Can
I
you
hope that
share
helps.
what can you share? Would you be comfortable sharing what your yes and no signals are for you?
Yeah, totally. So my yes signal is my mouth, almost like it turns into like a kiss. And and my no signal is my mouth opening, and it's actually saying no.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. And my daughter, I want to share this because my daughter wanted to know eagerly what her yes and no signal was, because she was like, well, I want to know. And so she practiced and she got hers as well. Her yes is her eyes blink open quickly, and her no is her mouth opening. And she's 9.
The mouth thing's running in the family, it sounds like.
It runs in the family. It does.
That's
Yeah.
cool. Thank you so much for sharing, Joanna.
Mm-hmm. My
How about
pleasure.
anybody else? Miss Garcia, did you get a chance? Oh, go ahead, James. I'll come back to you.
For a lot of years, I've been using a pendulum for that purpose. You know, I hold it and say, give me a yes. It starts spinning.
Right.
Give me a no. It spins in the opposite direction. Is that cheating or is that appropriate?
Well, now you're the pendulum. So have you allowed yourself to be the pendulum and see what the universe
Is it necessary for me to become the pendulum?
Well, why wouldn't you want to try it is my question. Why wouldn't you want to go like, because it's good to have a tool like a pendulum, but then why not experiment? If you haven't experimented, you being an adventurer, somebody who's on this journey of learning and experimenting, because we're all playing this game called life. We're all experimenting, and you're experimenting with the pendulum. Now I'm asking you to experiment and use your body as a pendulum, see what happens.
I'll do it.
Okay, great. Thanks. All right, who's next? You're muted. You're muted. Ms. Garcia, you're muted. Let me see if I can unmute you. Well, we can't hear. Well, no, you're not muted now, but we can't hear you. Can anybody else hear? I'm not the only one. Nobody can hear, right? Nobody can hear. Is your mic? Okay, while she's trying to figure out, let's show Leo. Did you get a chance to do your yes and no signal?
Yeah, but I cheated too. I used my pendulum that I usually use. So I need to become the pendulum. And
Yeah. Experiment. Try it, because some days you're gonna want to know your yes and no, and you're not gonna have your pendulum with you. What you're gonna do? You can be like, my pockets are empty. I don't have my pendulum. Like, I don't need it. I got the, I'm allowing my body to be the instrument.
Absolutely. 100%. Felt the same thing. So that's my goal this week. Got you covered.
Okay, good. AJ, you get a chance to do it?
No, my week was it was very consistent. So I had a practice going on, everything, but my focus was the basic practice.
Okay.
Just kind of building the consistency with that. Because last week, before that, I did the long one, the 10, and then laying on the floor. So then I kind of didn't want to get into the long, meditations. I just wanted to build a consistent practice. But by the end of now, I'm ready for this now. Like I'm ready to move into the yes and no.
Okay, good.
So I haven't gone into the yes and no.
Okay, good. And that's really what I wanted for everybody. Take their time and just get into building a daily practice. That's the most important thing, because now all the exercise, each chapter after this, it's based upon how well you do that. How much you're comfortable with and in tune with doing that daily practice. And that's key. Without this, you really can't go forward, to be honest with you. Without this daily practice of doing at least the 10 minutes and once a day, you're not going to be able to go forward. It's just not going to work. So that's why I didn't want to rush things. I wanted people to get time and get into that practice and get in tune with this rhythm and just start feeling it and getting comfortable with it and just getting into doing it, because this is the foundation. And if you do nothing else and you just do this, I guarantee you, your life will change, a whole different trajectory. You're going to live from a different place. You're going to just automatically, your intuition is going to increase, and you're just going to kind of be at the right place at the right time, just position yourself without even all this, because a lot of people talk about grinding, and a lot of people talking about you got to bust your butt to make it happen. And that's all good. You know what I mean? But what if you're busting your butt making it happen, and you're like they said, why did you spend your whole life climbing the wrong ladder up the wrong building, and there's a lot of people that they work hard, they do thing after thing after thing, and and it never happens for them. It just never happens. No matter how hard they work, no matter what they do, they go from one thing to the next thing to the next thing. And it's just constantly going from the fire to the, from the pan to the fire sometimes, but if you just take time out to get still and get in touch with, and let the universe speak to you, let God speak to you, you know what I mean? And show you, you save yourself a lot of time and heartache, and to have the momentum and energy of the universe, right, behind you, pushing you forward. Come on, what can compare to that? Tell me, Jerome, what can compare to that? You
I
got the
don't know
momentum and
anything.
the energy of the universe pushing you from behind, propelling
Yeah.
you forward to where you're supposed to be.
I can't think of anything for sure.
Hey, Stephen, we haven't heard from you yet. How are you doing? Can't hear you. Okay, there you
Hi, how you doing? I just unmuted. First of all, thank you for letting me join. I made it to the first and second one. I ordered the book through eBay, so it's taken a little longer than I thought to get delivered to me. But I've been doing law of attraction and manifesting for the last 10 years. Everything has been just wonderful. But this is the first time talking to other people and hearing, and seeing the visuals of other people talk about spiritual awareness and emotional intelligence and, optimizing our mental faculties and this part really fits in really well, just listening to what you guys are saying. So I'm a little backed up as far as not following everything, but just hearing the fact that you guys are talking about things I never heard of before, like pendulums, and seeing what is being spoken to us during a 10-minute meditation state is just awesome. So I just want to say that. So hopefully I get my book next week. If anyone out there has an extra and they're in Philadelphia, I'm more than welcome to come and grab it. But yeah, please continue with what's going on. I'm just soaking it in.
It's great to have you. The law of attraction works until it doesn't work. Ever heard that before?
Well, I know
this
there's
is going to
other
start a lot of people. This is going to start a lot of people, especially the ones from Delaware and stuff, people that I know. But
yeah,
I'm going to talk about the 4 M's real quick. You got the 4 M's. You got the mortal, the metaphysician, the mystic, and then the master, right? The mortal is not responsible for anything that's happening. Everything's happening to them. They don't take no responsibility. They're living in a state of victimhood and blame, right? The metaphysician is the person who starts to learn about the law of attraction and understands that like it's done unto you as you believe, which the next chapter really talks a lot about our belief systems and how creative they are and they create our lives. But the problem with the metaphysician is the metaphysician at some point has to let go of control in order to be the mystic. And then so it works until it doesn't work, because then the metaphysician thinks, oh, I can control, right? I can do this, I can manifest, right? And so we're creators and we can manifest, right? But do we have total control? Does it ever work out the way you think it's going to work out? Is my question to everybody. My life has never worked out the way I thought it was going to work out. I'm glad because I'm glad if I'm just do the work, right? And if I'm just in the right vibration, things turn out way beyond anything I could imagine myself. And so that's the mystic. The metaphysician has to give up control and surrender to understand the way of the mystic. And the mystic is the channel. The mystic lets it happen through them. And that's what this practice gets us in touch with, the fact that it's happening through us, that we are the channel. You feel the flow of energy, of divine essence flowing through the center of your being. And that this flow is unlimited, right? It's abundant, it's infinite, it's continuous, it's constant, it's ever there. And the more the mind surrenders to it, then the mind starts to relax. And I sent something out called Let Go a couple of days ago. If somebody could find that email, I'd appreciate it while I'm talking. And that what happens when the mind starts to, you get to a state where the mind relaxes and then you're just being, and then you're in tune with truth, with love, with peace, with harmony, with abundance, with wealth at the center of your being. You're just in tune with it. You feel full and you feel whole, and you don't need something outside of yourself to make you full and whole. That's the big difference. Some people, right? Money, they can have a lot of money, but money is only going to magnify who they already are. So if somebody's insecure, if you give an insecure person a lot of money, they're going to become more insecure, because the energy of money is just going to intensify and magnify that which is already inside of them. But if you come from a place of being, right, the best way to explain the law of attraction in the Bible in like 2 sentences is, to him who has, more shall be given. To him who has not, even that which they have shall be taken away. So when I'm coming from a consciousness of having, I'm automatically in position to draw more good into my life because I have. But to him who has not, I'm focused on what I don't have. I'm focused on what's missing. I'm focusing on what what's not right, right? So where the attention goes, the energy flows. So I got more to not have. I got more to that's not right in my life. If I got problems and the attention goes and I'm blowing up the balloons, like I'm blowing the energy of the problems up like a balloon, then it's just getting bigger and bigger and bigger. So whatever the attention goes, the energy flows. Whatever I focus upon expands. So to him who has not, even that which they have shall be taken away, because they're coming from a consciousness of not having, of lack and limitation. And so it's hard for them to even hold on to what they have. They're constantly scraping and they're constantly struggling just to hold it together, But when you come from go ahead.
The letting go that you speak of is a trust in, at least in my experience, is a trust in something that we're a part of that's in the non-physical. And so when I went to Catholic school for 12 years, so we always say believe in God and all this. So for me, it was like there's something more that so when I let go, I know that there's something bigger than myself. So what happens is I'm not too concerned of the hustle and bustle of the corporate world, even though I've been in it for 25 years. By letting go and realizing that, oh, wait a second, my life continues on in a flowing manner because I did let go, and I did not have to deliberately create everything on my own. I allowed the non-physical and what is going on in that realm to take place. And as long as I'm in a high frequency of vibration and increasing my vibration and awareness in a conscious level, everything comes to me. And that's what makes it wonderful. So yeah, the letting go, what you spoke about earlier, really hits home, and to let it flow. So there's no, and not saying that there's not, of course we're learning from the contrast of something negative. That's great, but once you learn those lessons, you don't have to keep running into the same negative experiences over and over. Eventually they either become less or non-existent until something else comes along. So, yeah.
I agree. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And somebody else had a question during the week. I think it's good to remind the class to share with the class of like, do you have to be aware of this rhythm all the time or something like that, And no, you don't, you know what I mean? If you just practice that 10, 20 minutes, whatever, once or twice a day, then you'll just go about your business. You don't have to exert any extra effort, throughout your day, trying to be aware of rhythms and stuff. As you find yourself being aware of rhythms, that's cool and that's fine, but you don't have to exert extra energy or effort throughout the day thinking because I used to always learn a practice or something when I was a lot younger, and then I feel like I have to do it all the time or something like that, and it just gets too overwhelming. So does that make sense? You just do it for that period of time, and then naturally you'll just see yourself like just being in the flow and just being more in tune with things. But you don't have to go throughout your day exerting. You've got enough stuff on your plate in life that you don't have to exert extra effort and on anything like that. So Ms. Garcia, you were able to figure out what's.
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yes, I hear you. Thank you so much. We hear you.
Well, thank you. I want to thank you again for this. I've been meditating and it's just been very powerful. I've also realized like my third eye or something, it just itches a lot and I'm constantly scratching. Even right now, I'm just like wanting to rip it out. I don't know what that is, but it's like it connects with the meditation. To be honest, I have not been able to connect with the yes and no signals. So I'm still working on that.
Okay.
And I like that you bring it up the scriptures also, because I'm also in tune with scriptures, and I wanted to share a scripture with the group regarding money. So in Ecclesiastes 7:12 in the King James Version, it says, "For wisdom is a defense, and money is a defense. But the excellency of knowledge is that wisdom giveth life to them that have it." So that goes back to what you were saying regarding having a lack mentality or an abundant mentality. So as you let go, you become connected to the wisdom, which is the internal power that you have. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Anybody else we haven't heard from today want to share? We're good. We got about just a few minutes left for today's session.
So I read this chapter today and I tried the yes and no signal and I got scared because like I was feeling rhythm here and then it went down here and I was like, what do I do now? And so I stopped, right? Um, so I don't know if anybody else has had that experience, but when it moved like that, it just, I felt like I should pause for a minute and figure out what's going on.
Just let it happen, man. Just let the red, it's gonna move, you know, just, you know, I don't know, let's see if anybody else has any wise words for you, but I would just say, just let it happen. Because this whole thing, this whole process about flow and trusting the flow and trusting the process is just also stepping back and allowing and trusting, you know, whatever it is good, you know. So it's gonna move the different parts, but you'll still constantly still have something here. Anybody
Can
else?
I,
Yes.
can I
please.
add something?
Sure. Yeah, go
I
ahead.
would say when I experience movements of energy or even physical movements in my body when I meditate, you know, I think it's just a reminder that I'm giving up resistance, that there is less and less resistance, which is, I think, a good thing, a very good thing. So I let whatever happens happen, and it's always been fine. And I feel pretty amazing afterwards.
And that's a really good point, because, you know, what I find too is like, as the energy is building, right, we're doing this meditation, we're sitting here, and then this energy starts to compound and build, right? Then it starts to hit up against blockages as well. Starts to hit up against stuff that we're holding in our aura or wherever. And you'll feel like, that's why I talked about in the first class, like if you feel pain or something, just, you know, you might feel areas where you've been holding this on to stuff that you didn't even know you were holding on to. And sometimes it'll flow through certain things. So the energy itself will, as you let it build up, it starts doing some deep healing work on you, you know, and it's just allowing that to do that. And yes, the resistance, it'll meet the resistance. And it's sometimes becomes a struggle of getting into the resistance and empowering the resistance to being in a place of like allowing the energy to flow through the resistance. Does that make sense? Because you can go to two different places. You know, I can go to a place of getting tighter and holding, you know, something in, and I can allow myself to soften and allow myself to let go. And a lot of it happens unconsciously sometimes too. How's it going with you, Marcy and Ida? Auntie?
Yes, my baby. You know, I just want to say it's just so many wonderful things has happened to me with these rhythms. I do a regular meditation and I added this on to it. Um, I had asked in my direction at this age, going on 78 and still working, what else can I be doing? And I got a text from a top producer from California for me to do a performance, which was last Saturday. And I was asking my yes and no to place me in the right place at the right time. And I was placed at the right place at the right time. And I have been offered some wonderful offers for my life in the music industry. And I can talk about that later. But I just thank you so much. I am just excited and thanking you for this rhythm, because it's more rhythm. I had to play a nice rhythm in the concert. And I just say I love you all. Thank you.
That's fantastic, Marcy.
Yes.
You gonna play the bass next class for us a little bit when we start
Yeah,
out?
I'll play the bass the next class. Yeah.
Okay. All
I
right.
out the shop.
First 5 minutes is you next week. All right.
Oh, that's what I wanted to say also with my rhythm. I haven't played bass in a long time. And when I started, when the rhythm started coming in, I started doing a 10-minute exercise meditation with just playing the bass. So yes, I'll be glad to share that with you.
All right. Wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? All right, well, um, any questions or anything also before we go? And nobody's got a question or anything?
I have a question.
Yes.
With your yes and no, is it always, do you find with your experience, because I'm sure you're pretty experienced, that you have to ask, or does it just happen?
I mean, it's beyond sometimes the thought. Like if I'm testing my yes and no on something, like even as I'm just thinking about it, my body's already going into yes and no. If does that, I don't know if that answers your
I was
question.
just wondering if in your daily life, whether, as you move along, like your body just sort of guides you with yeses and nos as you go through life.
Oh, well, that's the thing is as you're living from a place of connection and being in tune, like you'll just naturally know things will either feel right to you or they won't feel right to you. The energy of things when they come upon you, you'll be navigating life totally different from living in the flow and living from a place of connection. And it's not from like a mental place, it's more energy. Things just don't feel right. What's not for you is just like, it's just like somebody will come with something, an opportunity, and it's just like, you'll be like, your body will cringe, you know what I mean? Or you feel tight, or you just won't, it just doesn't feel, it feels yucky. It's not, it's like almost, it becomes the kind of, the so to speak, you're going to be cursed in a sense of you're not going to be able to do things that are against your soul or not right for you, because it just gets too painful. So it's like you're not going to be able to fake it no more. Certain things you're just not going to be able to fake it. You're not going to be able to put yourself in situations that you're just really not supposed to be there, because it just gets too painful to not be true to yourself. And you become more and more sensitive to energy. And it's like somebody comes with something and you're like, it's just, you just know you can't do it or can't bear it, like, but you do it anyway because you're a yes person, or you don't want to say no, or you don't want to stand up for yourself. You're not going to be able to do it as much because it becomes too painful to not be true to yourself, if that makes sense.
Hopefully you guide yourself away from that conflict before it even happens.
Yeah, I mean, but then you also get to develop, the strength to say no to what's not for you, and let people, and not worry about what other people think, and not get caught up in the people pleasing. And pleasing people's, because people are never going to be happy. You can't really make other people happy. You can only live from your own happiness. And if your own happiness inspires others to be happy, wonderful. But you can't live to make other people. I can't live to make my kids happy no matter what, But I got to be honest. The best thing I can do for them is to be honest with them and real with them and tell them what they don't want to hear, even when they don't want to hear it, and be the bearer of bad news sometimes, But if I'm always looking to make them happy or please them, no. I gave up on that game a long time ago, So that's a good question. Thank you. And like I said, throughout the week, if you have a question, and if you anybody else, I met with like 2 people over the phone. So if you need some like time to just kind of get deeper into that connection with that rhythm, and if I can help with a few minutes on the phone or something, reach out to me, send me an email. We can set up a time to do that. No problem. Or, if you got questions, you can just send me an email. The question is what brings out, it's like the movie in the Matrix, it's the question that drives us. It's the questions that, draw the energy and information out. So I need your questions. All right.
Are we reading the next chapter as homework, or what's that?
Yeah. So I, continue to work with 3, your yes and no signal. When once you're comfortable, now the next chapter is what I talked about earlier of, I believe it's, just want to verify. Yeah, subconscious beliefs. It's chapter 4, subconscious beliefs, and then you're going to get into this week. You focus on the practice for 10 minutes, and then ask the question. Give me a subconscious belief that interferes with making money. All right. And you can use that with anything, what's interfering with my health, but let's keep the focus right now. And then you do a yes and no. Do I have a false belief? Blank and blank, and then listen to your yes and no signals. Then write down the false belief in your journal, labeling it false. Close your eyes again, get settled, then ask, what is the correct belief? So not only do you become aware of the false beliefs that you're having, then you ask, what's the truth? Because the truth is so much more powerful than a lie. And especially in terms of belief systems, and ask what's the correct, and use the same procedure verifying yes or no. repeat the procedure for 10 minutes, and then take another few minutes to come out. And then you devise a ceremony to emphasize your intention to destroy the false belief and replace it with a correct belief. So it could be as simple as writing down your false beliefs and burning them, you know, but the ceremony or ritual you create, and that helps your subconscious mind to understand that your intention, because everything is based on intention, right? You can, and even when you have that intention, you got to let it go into the universe. You can't hold on to it. So it comes back to let go. So, all right.
All right.
Okay.
All right, perfect. All right, I'll hang out for a minute too if anybody's got a question, but see you next week. All right, thanks so much for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Pankaj.
Thanks,
Have a good night, guys.